First of all, please describe a little bit when and where and how the plan came up to make a solo record, to collaborate with Peter and stuff like this.
Okay. Are we rolling now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it started back in, 2000 or was it 2001 when we released Dead Heart and Dead World, Nevermore. And we were touring with Soilwork on that, one of those, actually I think we did 2 tours with them. And we got to be really good friends with those guys because they're super nice people, crazy Swedes, but you know how that goes. And Peter and I had always talked about doing a collaboration, a project together. We didn't really talk about, it was going to be a solo record for me. And years later, that was always in the back of my mind because he was somebody that I really respected as a songwriter, as a musician, and just an all-around guy. He was one of the nicest guys in the world. And eventually, after this Godless Endeavor was done being recorded, I was finished with all the vocals, everything was done, but I still wanted to keep going. I still had all these ideas that were in my head, and I was just so motivated still that I wanted to work on something else immediately. And Nevermore has never been a band that starts working on a new record immediately after the other one's recorded. So everyone in Nevermore was just kind of decompressing and taking some time once the record was finished. And so I called up Peter and I told him, we talked about this a long time ago, but I think maybe right now was the right time for us to think about writing some songs together. And so that's when it started. And of course now I was on tour when the Nevermore record was released. We toured for that record for a long time. So many tours. Peter's on tour with Soilwork. But we were trading MP3 files, and occasionally we'd end up in the same city, and we could just do it physically, hand each other CDs, and that's how the songwriting went. And it just took over the course of a couple years because, we were touring a lot, both of our bands. But I would sit in the back of the tour bus, because I got bored. Everybody else, they're out making a big party, and I would just sit in the back of the bus with my laptop and plug the mic in and work on writing music. And it worked out really well because it gave me something to do while we were on tour instead of just sit around and be bored or play video games or whatever.
I guess the people tell you this is the most melodic record you ever did.
Yes.
Any reason for that? And was it easier for you writing melodic parts for your own record comparing to the things that you write with?
Yeah. I think a lot of the songs are more open. There's a lot more room to establish really strong melody lines and harmony lines. And maybe it's because they're taking an approach that's a little more straightforward, a little more maybe rock metal. And Nevermore has always been, very what people call progressive, very, very guitar-driven. And, this music's just a little bit different, so there was that room to expand a little more and come up with these really interesting melodies.
What would you say, how many % of influences are from Peter and how many % of influences are by you?
It was kind of a 50-50 thing with all the songs. So we were always talking together about how we wanted them to turn out, and he'd send me the song ideas and I'd sing over them and then send him back the MP3s, and we'd just collaborate that way, kind of long distance, over the internet. I guess a lot of people do that nowadays, but it works. And we were always talking and bouncing ideas off each other, so it was definitely a 50-50 situation. And it was great to find a collaborator and a songwriting partner with him. And Matt as well. Matt did 4 of the songs on the record, and he's a guy I've known from Seattle for years, and he really has come into his own, I think, a little, as far as songwriting is